Well, good morning, America. This is the Good God Story YouTube channel. My name is Richard Gaglio, and today I am going to tell you a good God story, a true story that happened in my life that changed my life. About 15, 16 years ago, my wife and I were having difficulties. I had decided to leave the house, and we had separated. I had turned my back on my God. I had turned my back on my faith. I had turned my back on everything that I believed in. And I knew that I wasn't doing right. So in order to ease the tension in my brain, I would go to the casinos in Atlantic City, and I would play Texas Hold'em. But I wouldn't just go for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. I would go for like a day and a half or 2 days straight. I would come to a casino, go to the poker room, sit down at a table, and after having checked into a room, obviously, I would wind up playing poker sometimes for 10, 12, 14 hours straight. On this one particular weekend I went because I wanted to relieve my mind of all the tension, of all the stress, of all the thoughts about the debts and pain that I was causing. And so I showed up on a Friday night, checked into a hotel room at the casino, went down to the poker room, and sat down at a table at approximately 9 o'clock on a Friday night. And then proceeded to play cards and drink scotch for the next 36 to 40 hours straight. I would leave the table to take a shower in the room and come back down. But that was it. I literally played cards and drank until Sunday morning at approximately 10 a.m. There was a shift change. New dealers coming on, new supervisors on the floor. Everything was turning around. And as that happened, there were people that came to our table to fill in the seats where people had just left. So we had gone from a table of about 6 or 7 now to a complete table of 9. A gentleman who sat down next to me just looked at us and said, "Isn't this great? We're playing poker on a Sunday morning." Now, I had a stack of approximately 2,000 chips in front of me. The gentleman to my left had a bigger stack, and the big stack, the real big stack on the table, was in seat number 9. To my right. He had approximately $4,000 to $5,000 in chips. And when this gentleman sat down next to me and declared that it's so much better to be playing cards than to be in church, the man with the big stack said, "Well, I don't know about that." He goes, "My wife's in church right now." And I looked at him and I went, "Really?" I went, "So's mine." With that, the new player to my left went, "Why would anybody want to go to church? There's nothing but hypocrites and liars there." And folks, if I could have stopped it, I would. If there was some way that I could have prevented my mouth from speaking, I would have. But it just came pouring out and leaped out of my mouth, and I turned to this man and I went, "God is not a man that he should lie, nor the Son of Man that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then he not act? Does he promise and then he not fulfill?" There was dead silence at our table. There was dead silence at the 2 or 3 other tables close by. And this new player looks at me and like, "What are you talking about?" Now, not only have I just quoted Numbers 23:19 to him, but now I have to explain it. I had to explain to this gentleman that it's completely out of character for God to lie. It is not anything that he can do. If he promises something to us, he will fulfill it. And he will not lie to us because it's not in his being to be able to do that. With that, one of the new players turns and says, I knew it. I knew it. You're a preacher. I went, no, I am not a preacher. But then I had to go back and finish explaining that it was from the book of Numbers and so on and so forth. And with that, all of a sudden, the big stack in the upper right-hand corner stands up, takes the 2 cards that he had just been dealt, and slams them on the table. He said, that's it. I'm going home. The guy to my left goes, what do you mean you're leaving? We just got started. The old guy up there just looked and said, my wife has been trying to get me to go to church for years. I finally had enough, and I drove 5 hours from upstate New York just to get away from her. And then I find the one casino and the one poker table where God still sends me a message. I'm going home. And with that, he pulled up his chips, left, and walked away. I was in shock. And what came to me was Luke 15:3. Who among you, if he has 100 sheep and loses one, will not go out and leave the 99 to find the one? And when he does, will put that one sheep on his shoulders and come home joyous. My heart broke that day. It took some time, but in the coming months, my wife and I got back together, and we have restored, or I should say God restored, a marriage that many thought was lost. I'm here today to tell you that whatever you're facing, whatever difficulties you have, the world's got nothing to offer. And God will use whatever he needs to get you. He will go to wherever he has to go to find you. Because if you are the one that's lost, he will use every means at his hands to find you, put you on his shoulders, and bring you safely home. That, folks, that is a good God story. This is the Good God Story channel. My name is Richard Gaglio, and I look forward to speaking with you next week.